Welcome to our daily English podcast. Today, we're diving into a fascinating journey of innovation and adaptation. Imbriacy, and for this episode, I'm stepping into the role of storyteller. Joining me is Charlie Baxter, our guest host, who will guide us through this story. Charlie, take it away.
Thank you, Bree. Hello, everyone. I'm Charlie, and I'm thrilled to be here. Today, we're exploring the theme of rethinking ideas. Adam Grant, the organizational psychologist, suggests we treat our ideas like scientists treat their hypotheses. It's about testing, questioning, and sometimes letting go of our ideas. Bree's journey is a perfect example of this process.
Exactly. It's about going all in, even when it feels daunting. But that's where growth happens, right?
Absolutely. By the end of this episode, you'll see why it's crucial to rethink and adapt when our beliefs don't align with reality. Bree, before we dive deeper, you have some exciting news to share, don't you?
Yes, indeed. If you're nervous about speaking English in public, it might be holding you back from achieving your goals, like getting more sales or a better job. In January 2025, I'm launching a course called Public Speaking for Non-Native English Speakers. It's a step-by-step guide to becoming a powerful speaker. Spots are limited, so if you're interested, check out the link in the show notes.
That sounds fantastic, Bree. Now, let's get into some vocabulary that will be useful as we explore your story today. The first word is lean, which means to bend your body slightly forward or towards something. You can also lean in to embrace a challenge. Then there is nod, which is moving your head up and down to show agreement. Glow is to look happy or full of joy, often shown through a bright smile. Pick something out means to choose something from a group. Lastly, on paper refers to how something appears in theory, not necessarily in practice.
Great words to know, Charlie. Now picture this. It's a sunny December morning, and I'm standing in a community center filled with families. There's a kids' yoga class with little bodies wobbling into downward dog poses, and an art therapist setting up bright paints. And then there's me, next to a sign that reads, "The Superpower of Speaking English at Home." I'm nervous but excited because I believe in this idea with all my heart.
That sounds like quite the scene, Bree, and I can imagine the parents were curious about your approach.
So the idea really started from my own experience as a parent. I wanted my kids to learn English, but I was frustrated by how expensive courses and tutors could be. I thought, why not create a method that parents can use at home? Something simple and effective.
That's such a relatable problem, Bree. I mean, who wouldn't want to save money and still give their kids a great education? What was your first step in bringing this idea to life?
Well, I started by developing some basic techniques that families could easily integrate into their daily routines. Things like reading English books at bedtime or singing songs during bath time. I was so excited to share these ideas, so I organized a community workshop.
That sounds like a great way to get feedback. How did the workshop go?
It was a sunny day, and the community center was buzzing with energy. I set up a simple sign that read "The Superpower of Speaking English at Home." As parents gathered, I could feel their curiosity and eagerness. I started by sharing my story and then introduced the techniques. I was passionate, and I could see some parents nodding along, intrigued.
It must have been encouraging to see their interest, but I imagine not everyone was on board with the idea of doing it themselves.
Exactly. After the presentation, several parents approached me with questions. They were polite but skeptical. One asked if I offered English classes for kids, and another inquired about English-speaking nannies. It became clear that many preferred the idea of hiring professionals.
That's understandable. People often feel more comfortable leaving education to experts. How did you feel about that feedback?
Honestly, it was a bit disheartening. I understood their concerns, especially as a busy parent myself. But I also believed in the potential of my idea to empower families. It was a moment of realization that I needed to rethink how to present this concept.
It's fascinating how initial feedback can shape our approach. Did this experience change your perspective on your idea?
Definitely. It taught me that while the idea was strong, I needed to find a way to address parents' concerns and make the method more appealing. It was the beginning of a journey to refine and adapt my approach. After the workshop, I knew I needed to take a more structured approach. That's when Raul, my husband, stepped in. He's brilliant with numbers and business strategies. Together, we decided to create a comprehensive business plan.
It sounds like a perfect partnership. How did you go about developing the plan?
We spent countless nights at our dining room table, laptops open, diving into market research and financial projections. Ryul was incredible at simplifying complex ideas, which made the process much smoother. We wanted to ensure that our plan was not only thorough, but also realistic.
And all that hard work paid off, right? You mentioned something about a startup incubator program?
Yes, we submitted our business plan to a local organization that supports startups. When they invited us to join their incubator program, I was over the moon. It felt like a huge step forward, like being accepted into a new world of possibilities.
That must have been an incredible feeling. But I understand there was a reality check along the way.
Absolutely. During a meeting at the incubator, a business advisor reviewed our plan. He praised our research and the structure of our proposal. I was glowing with pride until he said something that stopped me in my tracks.
What did he say?
He mentioned that while the plan was excellent, he wouldn't personally use the method. He echoed the parents' feedback from the workshop, saying that busy people prefer hiring tutors or enrolling their kids in academies. It was a punch to the gut.
That must have been tough to hear. How did you handle that feedback?
It was a moment of clarity. I realized there was a significant gap between the theoretical appeal of my idea and its practical demand. It was a hard pill to swallow, but it pushed me to rethink my approach once again.
It's amazing how these challenges can lead to growth. Did this change your strategy moving forward?
Yes, it did. It taught me the importance of aligning my ideas with the real needs of my audience. I had to find a way to bridge that gap and make the concept more viable in the real world.